On today's episode of Boo's Just Doing Stuff, I already kind of got started. For starters, I put a plate on here. This just mounted. It is what it is. I just got to make sure it's not going to bottom out so I don't lose another plate, because I done lost the plate already. I don't want to go through that again, especially not with my Steady Garage plate mount, plate frame. But anyway, what am I doing today? So I'm actually going to get started on converting that wheel for a KP setup, right? So there's actually a couple things that I got to do. I actually got to grab that front wheel as well, because I need to make sure that the bearings are centered, that they're all the way pressed into the wheel how they should be, and make sure that I get the spacing right on the rotor side. So what I'm about to do is, actually there's a couple things that I'm actually trying to figure out as well. So because this is a Grom wheel, right, let me actually grab a rear KP wheel for comparison. That's a front, this is a rear. So what we're looking at is KP on the left, Grom on the right. So apparently I'm gonna need a longer spacer in here than on the other set of 14s on the other KP. Gonna have to shave this down a lot, just don't remember how much. Should measure it just to see where it sits at relative to the center of the wheel. No, because that's not the center. It's gonna be tricky. I might just have to eyeball this one like I did the last set, which honestly for me, eyeballing that set, it came out pretty good. But basically I gotta go from a 3-bolt to a 4-bolt, right? Cool, that's not a problem, I can do that. But the issue there is the KP's stock rotor is some unknown size. It's probably like a 180, 175 millimeter rotor, right? So in the process of me doing this, I'm going to have to figure out a caliper and a bracket as well, just like I did on the other set of 14s on the 300. But the thing with that is, I don't want to go with a radial setup like that bike. I kind of want to go with a different setup. So I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna do this. Right? So that leaves me with a couple options, right? I can go with a 190 millimeter setup, which is a stock rear Grom rotor, and then I could just figure out getting a stock rear Grom caliper and bracket onto here. It's gonna be a lot of shaving that I'm gonna have to do, but I can get it done, not an issue. Cool. And then there's also a matter of me trying to figure out how I'm gonna fit this all under a stock setup, because I want to see if I can not stretch this bike. That's gonna be the goal. I want to see if I can not stretch this one, or if I do have to stretch it, I'm gonna end up trying to swap out the swing arm to the XR100 swing arm that I have. It's the XR100R swing arm. I just got to get the linkage bushings swapped to roller bearings. That's what I want to go with. And also trying to see if I could find them for the actual swing arm itself. But anyway, there's that. Then I would have to figure out a fucking caliper bracket for that, because that's a different setup than the Grom KP style. Another thing is, because I want to convert these to Supermoto, I'm gonna have to figure out how I want to go about doing this, because these don't have the band. Well, I forgot what it's called, but I've been looking up the whole Supermoto conversion, and the kind of rim that I'm looking for is actually like an MT style rim. So this one is a 36 hole rim, so I got 36 spokes. The rear is 1.6 wide, the front is 1.4 wide. So I want to actually try to see if I could maybe get a wider rim for this setup. Something close, because right now I'm really just trying to figure out tires, right? I went to Cycle Gear yesterday with my boy, and I actually seen, I think it was a 9100 14. It was a dirt bike tire, and I was looking at the actual like profile of it. It actually looks kind of like meaty if I wanted to kind of like put it on here. So I'm thinking of something similar, but then again, I'm also maybe considering running the same offset on these as I'm running on those, which is a 2.5 and a 3.5 wide. So the tires themselves will end up being super wide compared to the actual rim, whereas those, they're not flush, but they're closer to flush. So realistically, I could maybe go with like, because that's a 120 70, 140 70. I could probably go with a 100 and 110, maybe that's what I might actually look into, see what tires in that size. But anyway, I need to figure out how I'm gonna go ahead and convert these, and also I'm just gonna get started on actually getting it to fit on the KP. So I got some filing to do. I got some things I gotta get taken care of. I got the grinder out to actually get me started. I just gotta make sure that I'm careful with these. And also, I'm trying to figure out gearing with this bike as well. Right now, this engine came with the 18 tooth on it, and I changed to a 30 rear because I wanted top speed for it, basically, right? Cool. So I've been riding it. This one, it'll go fast, but it ain't really built for that, right? Cool. So what I'm thinking about doing is, with this whole setup, I'm trying to see if I could maybe get like an enduro kind of build going with it, because I do, well, not enduro, what's the word I'm looking for? Dual sport, that's the word I'm looking for. I'm trying to see if I can go with like a dual sport build for the 223, right? So then that way I could actually take it on and off road at my free will, unlike with the 300 where I kind of gotta like be careful because my exhaust is down bottom. I'm actually trying to figure out making a skid plate or something for this as well, because I don't want to actually case my case. So yeah, I do plan on actually having some fun with this bike in this configuration. So I'm just gonna try to set it up as well as possible for the configuration that I'm going for. Kind of like what I'm doing with that bike, where it's a purpose build. The 300 is more a R&D build, just like that little monster ZS 190 over there is a R&D build, where it's just money being put into it to see like what could work. You feel me? So with my knowledge off of those two bikes, I'm using the knowledge off of that style, the pit bike style, on that one over there and any other frames that I got like that, and I'm using the KP with the vertical style on all my other KPs, because this is number 3. So with that being said, I also did just pick something up yesterday. I'm not going to talk about that until I actually get into that, but just stay on the lookout for that. All right. So I was taking a look at the spoke wheels, right? And if you notice in here, you hear my fingernail running across it. That's what I've noticed about these wheels, is it's kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. Maybe it's set up like that to actually grip the tire, but I'm noticing it's only on one side. I'm not seeing it over here on the band. On this side of the band it is. Outside, well, the inner part of the outside, yeah, that's fine. But I'm curious if it actually is already set up for street tires, minus, you know, the cups. Just fill those in, only because there's just the one hole. Curious about that. Oh, and do me a favor, if you're liking the content, like it, leave some comments, let me know down below, and subscribe, because yeah, your boy be doing some shit over here, okay? And it's not all for me. Some of it is, not all of it though. A lot of it is for everybody, so that way everybody knows, you know, what can be done with what and whatnot. But anyway, let me get to doing what I'm gonna do. First test fit with the rotor side started to get shaved. Now, as you can see, the rotor is touching, and I think I got it just about centered, but still don't have enough room over here to put a spacer in. And then over here, I'm still gonna have to push the rotor side in some more, so then that way I can get it to not touch up there. And I'm gonna have to leave enough room to where I could actually put a caliper bracket in there as well. So, mind you, like I mentioned, I'm trying to keep everything under the stock swing arm. So, if I could pull this off, I'm looking at it like, the main thing is really gonna be the tire, as long as I got enough room for the tire. Because right now, I can actually still go forward with the wheel, and it looks like there will still be enough room in there. So, it's just a matter of getting everything lined up, getting everything centered, getting the chain straight, getting the rotor straight and pushed in. So, yeah, let me keep doing that. But I did make a lot of progress in, what is it, like hour or two that I've been, since I last recorded. Honestly, what I think I'm gonna end up doing with that is ordering a set of speed spacers and then just making them fit. That's what I'm gonna end up probably doing. Front and rear speed spacers on this one. And then, yeah, shaving them down basically to however thick I need them or thin I need them. I think that's what I'm gonna end up doing. But yeah, let me take that wheel back off and keep shaving. Working on another custom set. I'm working on this one now. I gotta get it flush. I got that one and that one good. And then I gotta bring the fucking, this part all down. Doing it all by hand. It's fun. I'm just gonna show you all of that, right? Cool. Right, then there's that right there. Right, cool. And then there's still all of this right around here. Cool. And then there's still all of that in there. So what I had to do was I had to actually get it basically flush. Basically, I got it flush with it. So now I'm about to put the rotor on. I just wanted to actually record this part. Wow. 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 Yeah, I knocked a lot off, and I still got some more to knock off, because mind you, this part can't stay. So I have to actually knock it down to maybe like, maybe somewhere in that area. Maybe somewhere right here. So yeah, I did all of that by hand. It's a lot of fucking fouling, but got that done. Now I'm about to knock that down, figure out where exactly that's gonna sit at, and then knock it up, do another mock-up. Working. God damn. You see all that shit on the ground? All of that is from that. Yeah, all of that gray is from me shaving that wheel. Another day outside working. So here's where I'm at with it. I'm actually waiting on my caliper to come in. It should be here sometime today. Then I could actually figure out this spacing right here. So honestly, I might have already kind of fucked up. with the spacer that I have in there because I was shaving it down, forgetting about the caliper. So if anything, I might be able to press the spacer out of the bracket to give me any space if I need it for the caliper. But regardless, this is where I'm at. So another thing I'm gonna have to do with the bracket is gonna be over here. I'm gonna wanna open this up so that way it could slide into this part on the stock swing arm, and then that'll actually push the wheel with the caliper bracket lined up. That'll push the wheel over, right? And I think that's actually the space that I need, maybe a little bit more. It might be a little bit more. I'm looking at the sprocket. I'm looking at the chain actually as a reference. So yeah, I'm gonna have to basically just see where the caliper is gonna sit at, but it looks like I might have gotten it. It looks like I might have gotten it. I'm trying to see if I can get the wheel lined up with nothing on it, basically. Trying to take away all the tension, but just keep it in the center. Okay, that's about center. So I have to actually get the wheel over a little bit more, is looking like. I'm using that point as a reference to everything, as well as the actual chain. So I do see that there's a little curve still up there, which means I have to push the wheel further to the right. So it's either that or tension. I think it's gonna be tension actually. That might be tension. I might be good where I'm at. Yeah, I might be good where I'm at. So, you know what? Let me try to put the bolt on and try to tighten it. Okay, so now that I actually have some tension built back here, I can actually try to figure out the sprocket spacer side. So this is still the stock KP spacer. I'm not gonna try to shave it down until I know for a fact that I'm putting these on, same way I did with the last set. But I do have other ones that I can. They're just a little bit taller than this. So it's probably like a millimeter or two taller. So it's gonna just take me longer to hand file it. But anyway, I might just have to figure out the spacer over here to make sure that this is where it's supposed to be at. But it's looking like I got it. Once again, I'm just gonna have to wait until my actual caliper comes in to confirm the spacing of the rotor inside of the brake pads. But yeah, once that comes in, I'll do that. And I'll also actually, because I was just working on it, I'll actually change out the master cylinder as well, because I don't like the fact that my reservoir is actually right behind my exhaust. So I actually bought this one for the 300, but I'll buy another one. It is what it is. I bought one for that bike to convert that one to the all-in-one, because yeah, I want less stuff to be able to fall off of that. So I'm gonna end up doing the same thing with this, just because mainly I don't like how it's sitting right behind my exhaust, and all of these things is because the exhaust is actually kind of blowing out of here. So I want to also get that figured out as well. But yeah, so I just don't want nothing to happen with that. I'm gonna end up swapping this out. I just had to cut the threads short on it because they were a little bit too long, but where it's at right now is the length that I need it to be at for where the foot brake is right now, basically. Maybe I could do a little turn out, but I'll figure that out once I'm actually putting it on. Not gonna do that until tires. That's gonna be the main thing, because I can't put this caliper on to the bracket. I can't put that onto the stock wheel. So I'm not gonna open this system up until I actually go to change the wheels themselves. But with that being said, I'm at a good place right now with the wheels, to where I'm still waiting on some stuff anyway, and I'm actually still trying to figure out some stuff. But I'm at a good place to where I can actually stop doing cutting and grinding. I can stop all of that, and I could put these up for now. I'm just waiting on the, I want to get some tubeless tape so I could run. And I got the, what are they called? It's the fucking bands that go over in the rim. But yeah, there's that. And I'm also looking at getting a different set of rims themselves. So I'm gonna probably end up running these for now until those come in, because I think they're supposed to come in like a month or something like that. So yeah, I'll put some miles on this setup just to see what it's like on the skinny, and then do it compared to the wider, because basically the wider set is the stock width of the KP, which is what is it again, 2.5 in the front and a 3 in the rear. So those are the barrels that I'm gonna end up changing to. So basically it should be the same fill. I'll be able to go with, if I want to, the same tire profile, the 110, 130, or I could do the 120, 140 like I've been doing on my other ones. But yeah, let me just keep working. Let me see what I do today. So where am I at with it? Basically, I got it lined up on the right side of the bike. So it is centered now. Over here, only thing I actually have to do, which I was in the process of doing, is, so this is the stock KP spacer right here, and this is another one of the clone spacers. So basically, as you can see, I'm shaving this one down, but I have to get it, I think it's somewhere like around here. So I actually did shave that one down a lot, kinda. I didn't realize how much I actually did so far, because mind you, I'm doing it by hand. But yeah, I gotta kind of get it to like somewhere in this area, basically, and then I'll have the spacer for this side to keep it centered. One thing I'm going to have to do is probably still have to file where the rotor is supposed to be centered at on the hub, so then that way I can get it to go flush on the actual hub back here. Now, the goal is going to end up being to not have to run washers on the bolts to push the rotor flush, but if I have to, I will. So then that way I know for a fact that the rotor is square with the wheel. So there is still a bit back here that I can go if I really want to. It's just a matter of me not wanting to file down the hub itself. But if push comes to shove, as long as I touch it, I'm fine. I just don't want to end up having to do a full repaint on these like how I had to do with the other ones. But I digress. I say all that to say this. It's doable. You just have to have patience, and you have to have time and money to waste. As long as you don't mind wasting money just throwing parts at this to figure out what's going to work best for you, then hey, you're good to go. Now, what I ended up doing with the caliper bracket was I cut a slit in it, which is big enough to where there is a little bit of play in it, but I need that little bit of play anyway so I could actually slide it in through there. So it's good. Basically, what's going to happen is as you're rolling forward, when you go to hit the brake, it's going to pull this forward, right? So basically, it's going to stay like right there. Because there's nothing back here, it should be squeezed in flush to a point where wherever it's at when I tighten the wheel, the caliper bracket itself shouldn't rotate. But yeah, this is where I'm at with it. Another set of 14s going on a KP Mini. A different set of 14s at that. My knees hurt. I'm about to check and see if my packages got delivered yet, because that's my caliper and the bands for this. Part of me is contemplating on running these wheels as is just until I change the barrels on them. I don't know. Another day, another try. So right now I gotta actually get that. There we go. So caliper came another day, and it actually did push the wheel in some more. So basically it is pushed a little bit to the left. I don't know how well it's translating on camera, but I do see it in person. Let me see. So I gotta see how I'm about to do this, cause I know I can do it. That's not an issue, but it's just figuring it out. Huh. Okay. Where did that spacer go? I'm sorry, I'm tired. Spacer's right here. I gotta keep grinding the spacer down for this side so it could push it to that side. And yeah, I guess it's looking like I might have to grind down some more over here just to get the rotor in some to move the wheel over. So it's looking like not too much, like I'm very, very close. So you know what, actually let me try finishing making this spacer how I was doing it and see what I get there. So as you can see, I was able to get a spacer in over there, which I still have to shave it down some because I was actually fighting to get this wheel in and get the axle centered. So yeah, I just got to keep going on it a little bit more. Plus I do see that it is kind of still, actually at this point the spacer is my issue. It's kind of pushing the wheel to the right something. So as long as I keep going down on the spacer itself, I'll be fine. I just have to make sure I don't go too much. But once I do that, I should be able to, freely spin it. I do plan on getting a floating rotor because this caliper isn't a floating caliper. It's on a solid mount, unlike the stock, which the stock is considered a floating caliper. So, yeah, I'm gonna get a floating rotor for the rear and the front, actually, going with matching rotors. But yeah, let me pull this back off, keep shaving, see what I come up with next. But it's, you only hear that because I don't have any cush in the wheel yet. So yeah, that's the hub hitting the wheel. But yeah, damn near there. All right. Let it roll, but it does. I could go in there. So now at this point, it looks like I'm just tensioning. It's just a matter of the adjustments. Hoping the fucking rotor is lined up in the caliper too. going with a fucking floating rotor anyway, but I mean, yeah, I think I just gotta get the rotor. I gotta get rotors. Nah, I ain't gonna do it.